What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. So there's a new ballot out there. It's called Measure 114, and it's being voted on in November. And it's pretty much meant to fuck everyone who owns a firearm. A few details as far as what this includes is it would create a gun registry with your personal information and the guns you own. It would require you to have a permit when you go to buy a gun. It would impose an indefinite delay on background checks. And it would also ban any magazines above 10 rounds.
This is the most extreme gun control measure in the country, or at least one of the most extreme. It will virtually eliminate firearm sales in Oregon.
A push to convince Oregon voters to pass one of the strictest gun laws in the nation.
If passed, the ballot measure would extend beyond background checks and require any Oregonian who purchases a weapon to have a permit, take safety courses, and be registered in a new database overseen by the Oregon State Police.
Once again, whoever wrote the part for magazines, really, you should have somebody check your brain out because you contradicted yourself once again. Allow me to give some detail here. Measure 114 will ban the use, possession, manufacturing, and transfer of ammunition magazines over 10 rounds. Okay, so pretty straightforward and also stupid. Then they go on to say this. Use of a currently owned magazine will only be lawful on private property, at a shooting range, and while engaged in hunting. So carry the one, no, that doesn't add up. Did whoever wrote this read what they said beforehand? Ban the use and possession. So technically we can still use them and possess them as long as it's on private property or while we're at a shooting range? So then what are we talking about here? If the ATF shows up in my house and they're like, hey, you have a 30-round magazine. Oh no, you only use it at the shooting range and for hunting. Okay, sounds great, sir, thanks a lot. I mean, how are you gonna enforce that? I mean, everybody's just gonna say, oh no, that's only when I go to the shooting range. I don't have to work my thumb as much to load these 10-round bullshit magazines that you guys only allow now. Once again, really, really stupid writing. I know you guys have attorneys who write all this stuff. You guys should have them go back to school or just fucking fire them. Then we go into the permit part of this. Measure 114 requires a permit to purchase or transfer a firearm. The permit must be issued by law enforcement. Oh, that's good. It's not like they're bogged down with all of the crime that's going on. You're gonna give a whole bunch of their time to giving a permit to people who are already law-abiding, who can already pass a background check. Why?
Measure 114 will require local law enforcement agencies to create and fund a firearm permit process out of local budgets. It will move very scarce law enforcement resources away from protecting our communities to doing backgrounds and issuing permits. This is at a time when property and violent crime is skyrocketing, and law enforcement staffing in Oregon is already one of the lowest in our nation.
I mean, what is the point of that? We already have background checks, and they're not easy on them. It's not like they're just handing guns out to everybody. You have to legally be able to own one. So what is a permit gonna do? Once again, to whoever wrote this, wow, you guys really outdid yourselves with the stupidity on this. Next up, ballot measure 114 would allow your personal information to be added to a government registry. Well, shocker, but it's already being done. Yes, Congress and Biden signed something back in March to where if you go to a gun shop and you are either delayed or denied on a background check, FFLs are required to give the FBI your name and your address. By the way, this is considered federally prohibited. They are not allowed to create a gun registry, but they're already doing it. And the problem with our government is they're the government. There is no one who's gonna go to them and say, no, this is illegal, we're gonna arrest you and put you in your own jail. Doesn't work like that. They're the top dog. They can pretty much do whatever they want. So illegal doesn't make sense to them. And then the last one where it says it can impose an indefinite delay on your background check, which essentially means that once they delay your background check, you could be waiting for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. So technically, if they wanted it to be, it would be a way to completely abolish our Second Amendment moving forward. If they don't want you to have a gun, delay them. Never come back with an answer. Let me put this into perspective for everyone, even people who are against owning guns. Our current process that we have when you go to buy a gun already weeds out people who can legally not own a gun under our government. So what you're doing is you're restricting people who are law-abiding, who want to use their gun to hunt, to target practice, and for self-defense. So when you hear people like Joe Biden say, oh, I support the Second Amendment, or Kamala Harris, or any of these idiots, they don't. And the reason why they don't is because it is the only thing holding this country from communism and from a dictatorship. If there is no reason why nobody should be scared to knock on your door, the whole dynamic of this country will change, and it will not change for the good.